trailer starts with Charles, the terrifying spider train, rushing down a mining area, attacking anyone it sees, killing them in a brutal manner. The people who get mowed down are all wearing a mask representing Charles' face, which depicts how these people are members of a cult who worship or follow Charles, even though it's clearly shown that Charles doesn't care about them. If anything, Charles seems to be an instinctual entity that destroys anything or anyone it encounters, regardless of their belief system, whether they follow or support him, or even if they are against them. The backside of Charles reveals that it was apparently a train that was manufactured by the Charles Mining Company, which unveils a little bit of a backstory seemingly, with Charles at first being a normal train which becomes possessed by a higher power, making it to be what it is now. The Heretics, or the cult members who worship or follow Charles, are seen later in the trailer to be infesting the mines within this world, attacking the protagonist, who is one of the people on the other side who oppose Charles and want to fight it off. A tattered banner is also seen hanging on top of the bridge in this area, which has the logo at the back of Charles, revealing how this mining or train company was possibly behind creating Charles. Therefore, the heretics who follow Charles might be in some way associated in creating it, possibly having been the miners creating the rail track for Charles. The sound of agony is heard emitting from the heretics in here as Charles mows them down even though they follow him, shouting for Charles to get away and saying how they don't want to die, which makes me think that they do not have any sort of deeper connection to Charles in any way or shape. They just simply have formed a call to take control of this island, possibly.
Charles! Get away! I don't want to die!
Their tactic in taking control is to portray that they are siding with a higher power hostile being to instill fear in others so they don't fight against them. Maybe deep down, these heretics don't in fact believe in Charles, they just do it as an act to seem powerful. But by what is seen, it's far from that. The protagonist is also seen to be in this area as if trying to claim it, which in a way could show the map include different enemy bases or sites which need to be claimed, where the protagonist could have fast travel points or places to upgrade his train. Getting on his old train and getting away from the hostile Charles, the map shows how the game will be taking place on an island, which is possibly remote and cut off from the mainland, and that's why the cultists or heretics are trying to claim this place and maybe slowly expanding to other islands or even the mainland. There are different routes to take. As seen, the protagonist can change the train tracks. The map doesn't seem to be extremely big, but in my opinion that's actually a good thing, as the smaller the map, the more advanced and full it can be, filled with unique attributes and places to explore, compared to an extremely large map which is usually empty or just has a lot of repetitive landscapes and environments. A quest is seen here for the protagonist to go to a mine to collect a monster egg. This quest is labeled as mandatory or required, which reveals how many side quests will be out there helping the protagonist upgrade his train, which are not a requirement to progress with the story. Marking the map provides a basic navigation which the protagonist can use to locate himself, and by the looks of it, what I think the map shows, going from the midpoint north to the north end of the map drags for roughly about 800 meters, making the map from south to north about 12 kilometers. That's taking into consideration if north, center and south are each 4 kilometers in length. So if my ballpark calculated figure is somewhat correct, the map is mid-size, not too big to make each journey a pain, and not too small to take the tension away from traveling, having the monstrous Charles on your tail. The trailer jumps back and forth a little from the stealth and action-packed segments, showing a little bit of the shooting mechanics. The weapons seem to overheat, forcing the protagonist to quickly change the weapons to slow down Charles. There are a variety of weapons displayed in the trailer, such as the turret gun, a flamethrower, what seems to be a rocket launcher, and an armor-piercing gun. Going back to the mine to collect the monster egg, the north side mine seems to be full of the heretics guarding it heavily. That seems to be the stealth section, as the protagonist isn't seen to be able to wield any sort of weapons when on foot, despite being very handy using the weapons mounted on the train. So I don't think there's going to be any fighting or shooting mechanics when on foot, and the only way the Heretics could be battled is to evade them and use stealth. There seems to be a trend with Heretics who wield a double-barrel shotgun, and after death, if however they die, whether by planted bombs in different places or Charles just destroying them, they don't seem to drop their weapons for the protagonist to pick up and engage in a shootout with them. I don't know at this point if double-barrel shotguns have any significance or it's just the developer's choice, but maybe it's just one of the weapons that were widely available in that island. Don't know if there's going to be much lore about that, but it's something that's there. Double-barrel shotguns. It's just a shame that we cannot pick them up and use them, because these are some of my favorite weapons in video games. I think my enthusiasm about double-barrel shotguns started with Evil Dead 2 when Ash used it with his badass arm chainsaw. There might be segments which involve shootouts with the Heretics, but by the looks of it, if there were any shooting mechanics on foot, this trailer would have definitely showed it already. More bases are seen hanging the banner of Charles Mining Company, which in a way shows that this island was initially a place mainly for mining. But this time around, friendly NPCs occupy them. Different NPCs seem to provide weapons and ammunition, as seen through some called John and Candace. Candace seems to provide the protagonist with a sticky bomb to burst open a door to obtain some ammunition, and John provides the weapons to use the ammunition on. Another NPC named Daryl seems to help the protagonist with upgrading his train, collecting body parts and scraps. The armor and speed of the train can be upgraded. The train could also be repaired depending on how much damage it sustained, being represented as health, and finally, the damage of the weapons can be increased fighting Charles. Charles seems to be indestructible, but the weapons do in fact slow him down when trying to catch up to the protagonist and kill him. It seems the story needs to progress till the very end, which provides the players with a final mission where they can destroy Charles, and that is by using some sort of spell, magical tools, or an OP weapon. The final part of the gameplay or trailer shows how the protagonist fails to slow Charles down, who gets extremely close to him, which causes the screen to have red markings depicting how the protagonist's health is depleting and is sustaining damage. That's when he jumps out of the train, running to a cabin which seems to be a safe house, but as Charles is too close to him, we get a nice death screen where the protagonist dies, seemingly being put back at a previous checkpoint or save, or maybe even a safe house, losing some of the scraps he found or progress that wasn't saved. So these cabins, although flimsy looking, seem to be safe houses where the players can potentially save their progress. Overall, the game looks pretty solid at this point and well put together, and it's coming out in just 2 months. And by the looks of it, many people just like myself are pretty excited about it. Let me know what your thoughts are about the game or the trailer in the comment section below. Anyway folks, it's been R, your host. Thank you for being here. Until the next video, have a fantastic day.